Welcome to the Woolpack. For more information, please visit our website. So, I have a question. Does anyone know what they're doing? Seriously, because every time, I've seen people talk about, their life or what they're doing, everybody seems to be in the same boat. And this is interesting because we always are looking at somebody else and we're saying, oh, if only I could be like that person. Look at them. They've got their whole life together. They've got, everything's all set up. They've got their plans. They've got their goals that they're working towards. They've got their job and all this stuff. But yet, if you ask that person, if you were like, and you really talk to them, you realize that they kind of don't know what they're doing. They're like, yeah, I've been doing this, but, I don't know if I want to do this, It's like there's this sort of level of skepticism, I guess, with everyone as far as what they're doing. And even people who are doing what they want to do. Like, oh man, they are a doctor and they've always wanted to be a doctor. Even them, if you talk to them and you're like, hey, do you know what you're doing with your life? Like, how's it going? They would still be like, yeah, kinda, not really. There's still some things trying to figure out. And I think it's interesting, one, because it shows how kind of foolish comparison is, because you should not look at somebody and think that they have it all together, because they don't. No one does. But even people who are like doing what they know they want to do, even they have things that they're still figuring out. And I think part of it is just because of who we are as people. We don't, we kind of like to have everything sort of lined up, and not everything works that way. And so even when we're, going after things we like, it doesn't always, pan out the way that we think. So then it can make us feel like we don't know what we're doing. And it's very interesting. And because that's how I feel about this Woolpack stuff. I really like it, but so much of the time I feel like, what am I doing? Yes, I'm doing something that I like. Yes, I'm doing something that I enjoy. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Does this make any sense? And I don't think it's a sense of, like you're really asking, what are you doing? I think it's more, we're sort of asking, where does this lead to? I have this sort of picture in my head, and I'm doing this thing that I like, but how does this all pan out? And I think that's really what we're asking when we ask the question, what am I doing? A friend of mine shared this with me, and I'm just going to read it to you. She said I could share it on the podcast, but really she sent it to kind of for the podcast, but also for me, as encouragement. And I really love it. And so I'm just going to read it. I really hope that it helps you like it helped me. It says, God doesn't take our identity. When we say to deny ourselves to submit to Christ, we aren't denying the character that God created us with. We are denying that which is attached to our flesh that is not of God. Fear, stress, anxiety, depression, doubt, worry, lack of trust, all things that hinder us from stepping into the identity that God gave us from the beginning. God would never take away that which He has created. In fact, He would create an environment for it to flourish and grow. The enemy wants our attention on ourselves and often uses unworthiness, negative self-image, doubt, inward blame, and criticism as a way to self-preserve, when in reality, God has already said who we are in His Word. All we would ever need to know about ourselves has been written in the most beautiful love letter ever penned. Let's trust the Creator, the one who designed us and breathed life into us, instead of a counterfeit entity who sees our worth and potential and tries to seal it away in a most corrupt and twisted way. I hope that is a blessing to you all. So I like to write. I enjoy writing. I like to write short stories and poems and song lyrics and stuff. And I just have a little poem here that I found in my notes that I wanted to share because I think it, I don't know, maybe it'll be nice for you. So I'm just going to read it now. The dawn comes, arise a new day. May the Lord above guide us. May the devil below flee far away. The warming rays and the bird's bright cry, may they light our path and teach us to fly. We reside in His hands, He is by our side, and by His will this day we'll thrive. I want to learn how to sew. I do know how to hand sew, very little, but I have a sewing machine, and I am going to attempt to try to, learn how to use it. I've tried using sewing machines in the past, and it always ends in like frustration and me just giving up because I figure, hey, I don't want to deal with this anymore. But I have been just seeing so many things that have been wanting me to learn how to sew, just things I could make. But not only that, I think it's just a good skill to have. I think that they're just, certain things that are just good skills to have. Learning how to sew, learning how to, bake, learning how to, clean. Just kind of basic general life skills. And so yeah, I want to learn how to sew. And this sewing machine that I have, it has like all these different like stitches, and I guess like each one is for like a different thing. So like certain stitches are for like certain fabrics or whatever you're making. But it just makes me think, and the verse where that says in Isaiah, where it says, "I've knit you together in your mother's womb," and it just makes me think also of like, just how God knits us together in our mother's womb. He sort of, so it's like this sort of sewing, knitting, together. But also just at the cellular level, how, just how that works. And it is like a sewing, knitting together, at the cellular level, which I think is really, really fascinating. And as fascinating as it is, I am a little nervous about sewing, because I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to be very good at it. But I'm also looking forward to it because I think there's a lot of really neat stuff that I could make and learn. And like I said, I think it's a good skill. And I would like to encourage all of you, if learn some, skills are important. You can use them for all sorts of things. You can use them for, job, work, help, serving people, like all different things. But yeah, I think it's kind of neat how, the Lord knits us together. So, when you're making something or when you're sewing, you can think about that. We are knitted together. We are made, for a purpose, such a high purpose. And it's always a good reminder. We like things to be fast and instant and quick. That's how we like things. We have instant coffee. We go to the drive-thru. We get whole meals like, really quick. Everything's all quick, quick. We go on the internet, and if it takes more than, a second, then, we got to get better internet. Everything has to be fast and instant now. But progress is not instant. And this is, I think, where a lot of us get tripped up. I've talked about this, I think, in the first podcast. When you're working at something, it's little by little. And you may not see like a huge change, for a few, weeks, a few months, even a few years. Think about it. Like if you're working on relationships, you're working on yourself, maybe your character, you're working on, learning an instrument, art project, you're working on a skill. It takes time, little by little, and this is important to remember because it can get so discouraging when you're working at something, you've been working on it for months or weeks, and you feel like you haven't made any progress. And I just want to encourage you, look back, a day ago, a few days ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, and you'll see progress. It may be small, like maybe, you notice today that maybe you're a little bit more confident today than you were, a week ago. That's good. Are you as confident as you want to be? No, but you can see a positive change. And I just want to encourage you, look back little by little, look back on the progress you've made, remind yourself of the progress you've made. Remind yourself that these things is little by little, and remind yourself that it's all worth it, and, look to the future, to what, the skills you'll have and, the progress you'll have made. But don't get discouraged. Don't let these things get you down, because it's always so much fun to learn new things. It is. It's fun, and sometimes we just need some encouragement and all this stuff. Thank you for listening to the Woolpack podcast. To learn more about how you can contribute, get involved, or join the Woolpack, please visit our website. Thank you, and God bless.